Number 10. The call of the void. You've been there, standing on a high balcony, maybe looking down from a cliff, or just waiting for the subway to arrive. Everything is perfectly fine. You're not sad. You're not scared. You're just existing. And then, a tiny, horrible little voice in the back of your brain whispers, "You could jump." It's not a command. It's not a desire. It's just a bizarre, intrusive blip of a thought that flashes through your consciousness and leaves you feeling deeply weirded out. Welcome to L'appel du vide, or the call of the void. It's that inexplicable urge to do the most destructive thing possible in a given moment, even though you have absolutely zero intention of following through. You could be holding your brand new phone over a storm drain and your brain goes, "Drop it." You could be driving peacefully and your brain muses, "I could just swerve into oncoming traffic right now." So, is your brain secretly trying to murder you? Probably not. Psychologists theorize this is actually a weirdly reassuring signal. It's your survival instinct kicking into overdrive in a high-stakes situation. Your brain so aggressively registers the danger, wow, a fall from this height would be extremely not good, that it momentarily makes you hyper-aware of the possibility. The jump thought is just a misfired signal, a crossed wire between the part of your brain that recognizes danger and the part that imagines scenarios. It's a bit like your brain screaming, "Don't think about jumping," so loudly that all you hear is jumping. It's a high five from your mortality, reminding you that you are, in fact, alive and would very much like to stay that way. Basically, it's your brain's way of saying, "I love you," but with the delivery of a serial killer. Number 9. The Hypnic Jerk. Picture this: you finally crawled into bed after a long, soul-crushing day. You're drifting off into that sweet, blissful pre-sleep state, floating in a warm sea of nothingness. Then, without any warning, you feel like you've just been shoved off the Empire State Building. Your entire body convulses in a massive, involuntary spasm. Your heart tries to exit your chest through your throat, and you're suddenly wide awake, wondering if you just had a miniature exorcism. This delightful feature of human existence is called a hypnic jerk. It's that sudden, intense feeling of falling that jolts you awake right as you're about to fall asleep. And you can thank your ancient monkey ancestors for this one. One of the leading theories is that this is an archaic reflex left over from our primate days, when our ancestors were sleeping up in trees. Dozing off was a risky business. A deep sleep could mean relaxing your muscles a little too much, losing your grip, and plummeting to the forest floor to become a saber-toothed tiger's midnight snack. So, their brains developed a handy, albeit terrifying, alarm system, as their muscles would relax and their bodies would go limp the same way ours do when we fall asleep. Their brain would occasionally misinterpret this relaxation as a sign that the primate was falling out of the tree. The brain's response: a massive, full-body muscle contraction to catch themselves before the fall. It's the neurological equivalent of a car alarm that goes off when a gentle breeze passes by. So next time you're jolted awake by a phantom fall, just remember it's your inner tree-dwelling ape screaming, "Watch out for the ground." Number 8. Cute aggression. You see a puppy. It's so fluffy you can't even process it. Its eyes are too perfect, glistening orbs of innocence. It stumbles over its own paws, lets out a tiny squeak, and tilts its head. And what does your highly evolved, sophisticated brain do in response to this overwhelming cuteness? It whispers, "I must squeeze it until it pops." This is cute aggression. It's that bizarre, contradictory impulse to bite, pinch, or crush something you find unbearably adorable. You see a baby with chubby cheeks and have to physically restrain yourself from giving them a gentle chomp. You see a kitten, and your first thought isn't awe. It's, "I must squish it." It feels profoundly wrong, like a sociopathic impulse bubbling up from your subconscious. But it's an incredibly common human experience. You're not a monster. Your brain is just emotionally short-circuiting. This phenomenon is what psychologists call a dimorphous expression. It's when your body expresses an emotion in a way that seems to completely contradict what you're actually feeling. In this case, your brain is hit with such a tidal wave of positive, nurturing feelings that it completely overloads the system. It's too much good stuff at once. To cope with this emotional flood, Your brain throws a dash of the opposite emotion aggression into the mix. It's a form of emotional regulation. The aggressive impulse helps to temper the overwhelming positive feelings, bringing you back down from a state of squealing, incoherent mush to something resembling a functional human being. It's your brain's clumsy attempt to prevent you from being paralyzed by cuteness, essentially yelling, "Get a grip," by making you want to bite a baby's foot. Number 7, the Uncanny Valley. You've seen those videos of modern robots. They can smile, they can blink, they can hold a conversation. They look almost human, and that's the problem. The closer they get to looking like a real person, the more they make your skin crawl. There's a deep, primal wrongness to them that you can't quite put your finger on. This chasm of creepy between obviously a robot and indistinguishable from a human is known as the Uncanny Valley. Your brain has a very specific, finely tuned setting for what a healthy, living human should look like, for millions of years. This internal template was crucial for survival. Anything that looked humanish, but was slightly off, was a major red flag. Was that person's face unnaturally still? Was their skin waxy? Were their movements jerky and puppet-like? To our ancestors, these subtle cues didn't mean bad CGI. They meant disease, genetic defects, or, most terrifyingly, a corpse that was being puppeted by something else. That feeling of revulsion was a powerful, life-saving instinct. Your brain would scream, "That looks like us, but it's broken. Do not touch it. Do not mate with it. Get away from it before its wrongness gets on you." Fast forward to today. We don't have to worry about sick tribe members trying to infect us as much, but that ancient, corpse-detecting software is still running in the background of our operating system. When we see a CGI character whose eyes are a little too glassy, or a robot whose smile doesn't quite reach those dead eyes, it trips the exact same alarm wires. Our brain doesn't see a technological marvel. It sees a potential plague carrier or a reanimated body. So the next time you're creeped out by a department store mannequin, just thank your ancestors for trying to save you from a zombie apocalypse that never came. Number 6, the doorway effect. You are a person on a mission. You rise from your couch with purpose. A singular goal burning in your mind: retrieve the scissors from the kitchen. You stride with the confidence of a Roman general, crossing the living room, navigating the hallway. And then you pass through the kitchen doorway. You stop. You stand there, utterly placid, a complete stranger in your own home. The mission-critical thought has vanished, wiped clean from your brain as if by a tiny, targeted EMP blast. Why are you here? What were you doing? Do you even own scissors? This maddening phenomenon, where your intentions evaporate the second you enter a new room, is called the doorway effect. It's real, and it's a glitch in your brain's filing system. Psychologists studying this found that our brains compartmentalize memories based on location. When you're in the living room, you have a set of living room thoughts active. But the physical act of walking through a doorway creates what's called an event boundary. It's a mental cue to your brain that you are leaving one context and entering another. Your brain, in an effort to be helpful and efficient, decides to archive the memories from the previous room to free up processing power for the new one. Basically, your brain sees the doorway and thinks, "Okay, that scene is over. Pack it up." Boys. The problem is, the one crucial thought that was meant to bridge the two scenes, the very reason for your journey, gets packed away along with everything else. It's like a hyper-organized assistant who shreds a vital document simply because you carried it from one filing cabinet to another. The only way to get the thought back is often to go back to the original room where the thought was created, which is like hitting the undo button on your brain's ridiculous organizational system. Number 5, phantom vibration syndrome. There's no feeling of gentle gaslighting quite like this one. You're sitting there, doing nothing, when you feel a distinct, unmistakable buzz from your pocket. A text, a notification. Someone needs you. You reach for your phone with the practiced speed of a gunslinger, pull it out, and unlock the screen only to be met with absolutely nothing. No calls, no texts, no updates. Just your own reflection staring back, silently judging you. Welcome to Phantom Vibration Syndrome, the ghost in your machine, or rather, your pants. This is the incredibly common tactile hallucination where your brain creates the sensation of a phone vibrating when it isn't. Our brains are, by nature, prediction machines. They are desperate to find patterns and anticipate signals, a trait that was super useful for our ancestors who needed to interpret every rustle in the grass as a potential tiger and not, just wind. Being jumpy and wrong was better than being complacent and eaten. Fast forward a few millennia, and we've traded tigers for text messages. We are now so conditioned to be on alert for notifications that our brain has started getting jumpy. It begins to misinterpret completely random sensory noise, the friction of your jeans against your leg, a tiny muscle spasm, a slight twitch in your nervous system as an incoming signal. It's the brain's pattern recognition software being turned up to 11. It's so anxious about missing a potentially important social signal that it decides it's better to create a few false alarms than to miss a real buzz. It's the same ancient system that kept us safe from predators, now repurposed to make you look like you're nervously patting your thigh for no reason at all. Number 4, misophonia. You're sitting at a quiet table, trying to enjoy a meal. All is calm. Then, from across the room, you hear it. The sound of someone chewing. It's not just annoying, it's a violation. The wet, smacking, repetitive sound drills directly into your brain, bypassing all rational thought and triggering a primal, instantaneous rage. Your heart rate spikes, your muscles tense, and you suddenly have the overwhelming urge to either flee the room or commit an act of unspeakable violence over a bag of potato chips. This isn't you being a picky jerk, this is misophonia, which literally translates to hatred of sound. It's a neurological disorder where specific, ordinary sounds, chewing, breathing, sniffing, keyboard tapping trigger an intense, involuntary fight or flight response. Your brain misinterprets these mundane noises as a legitimate threat, while the exact cause is still being researched. Brain scans of people with misophonia show that trigger sounds cause hyperactivation in the anterior insular cortex, the part of the brain responsible for processing emotions and flagging important sensory input. Essentially, your brain's audio filter is broken. For most people, background noise is just that, background. For someone with misophonia, their brain grabs that sound, puts it under a giant magnifying glass, and cranks the emotional volume up to 1,000. One theory is that this is a glitch in our ancient threat detection system. The soft, repetitive sounds might mimic the noises of a predator chewing on a kill nearby, or the breathing of something dangerous hiding in the dark. Your brain, ever the cautious caveman, decides it's better to have a full-blown panic attack over your dad's loud chewing than to ignore a potential monster. It's a survival instinct that has become spectacularly unhelpful in a world full of open-plan offices and family dinners. Number 3, the Tetris Effect. If you've ever spent an entire afternoon playing a puzzle game, or doing any highly repetitive task, you know what happens when you finally stop. You close your eyes to go to sleep, and the work continues. You see falling blocks, cascading gems, or scrolling social media feeds burned into the backs of your eyelids. You might even start seeing patterns in the real world, unconsciously trying to fit tiles on the bathroom floor together, or imagining how the cars in traffic could be rearranged more efficiently. This cognitive hangover is officially called the Tetris Effect, or pattern habituation. It's a powerful demonstration of how aggressively your brain tries to learn and automate new skills. When you perform a novel, repetitive task, your brain goes into overdrive, trying to master the pattern to make it a low-energy, automatic process. This is a leftover from when learning a new skill quickly, like how to properly knap flint or how to track a specific animal, was a matter of life and death. Our ancestors' brains would get stuck on a new pattern, mentally rehearsing it even during rest, to ensure the skill was hardwired as quickly as possible. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a life-saving survival skill and the profoundly useless ability to clear a 4-line combo in a video game. It just sees a new, engaging pattern and dedicates all available background processing power to mastering it. It's essentially a learning algorithm that has gotten stuck in a loop. So as you lie in bed, unable to sleep because your brain is trying to fit your bookshelf into the crack in your ceiling, you can thank your ancestors. This powerful mental software was designed to help them master their environment. Now it's just being used to make you dream about spreadsheets. Number 2, the junk thought generator. You're in a dead silent, serious meeting with your boss. Everything is going fine. And then, a thought appears in your head, fully formed, completely uninvited. What if I just screamed? Or maybe you're holding a friend's newborn baby, and your brain, your own treacherous brain, whispers, you could just drop it. The thought is so horrifying, so profoundly alien to your actual character, that it sends a jolt of ice through your veins. You're not a monster. You have no desire to do these things. So why is your mind presenting you with the worst possible option imaginable? These are called intrusive thoughts, and they are perhaps the most personal and disturbing glitch of all. They differ from the call of the void, which is tied to a specific high-stakes environment. Intrusive thoughts are more random, more personal, and often more taboo. They are the product of your brain's creative engine running without a filter. Your brain is designed to constantly generate thoughts, possibilities, and scenarios. It's what allows for planning, creativity, and problem solving. But it doesn't just generate good ideas. It generates all the ideas, including a mountain of utter junk, most of the time. Your brain's quality control department sees a bizarre or terrible thought, stamps it junk, and incinerates it before it ever reaches your conscious awareness. But every now and then, a thought is so shocking, so morally repulsive, or so completely out of character that the system flags it. It's like a security guard seeing something so weird they have to stop and stare. Your conscious mind grabs the thought and asks, where on earth did that come from? Ironically, the horror and attention you give the thought are what make it stick around, creating a vicious cycle of anxiety. It's not a secret desire. It's proof that your moral compass is working so well that it sounds a 5-alarm fire for even the possibility of a bad thought. Number 1, the face on Mars. Since the dawn of time, we have looked at the clouds and seen dragons, stared at the moon and seen a man, and looked at a burnt piece of toast and seen a religious figure. This isn't just a quirky habit. It's the master glitch that dictates our entire perception of reality. Our brains are pathologically addicted to finding patterns, so much so that they will invent them out of pure, chaotic noise. This is called pareidolia, seeing specific images like faces, and its big brother is apophenia, the tendency to see meaningful connections between unrelated things. This is, without a doubt, the most important survival tool our ancestors ever gave us. Imagine 2 early humans walking through the savannah. One sees a weirdly shaped shadow in the tall grass and thinks, that's just a weird shadow. The other sees the same shadow and thinks, that looks vaguely like the outline of a lion. The first human gets eaten. The second one runs away and lives to pass on his paranoid, pattern-seeking genes. We are the descendants of the ones who saw predators in the noise. Our brains are hardwired with a simple, brutal rule: it is always better to assume a pattern exists and be wrong, than to assume randomness and be dead. This ancient software is running our lives every single day. It's why superstitions exist. You wear your lucky socks and your team wins. And your brain forges a cause and effect link that isn't there. It's the engine of conspiracy theories, connecting disparate world events into one grand, overarching narrative, because a story, even a terrifying one, is more comforting to our brain than the idea that things happen for no reason at all. This drive is so fundamental that it dictates how you see the world. Your reality isn't an objective photograph, it's a story. And that story is being written by a desperate, ancient narrator in your skull who would rather invent ghosts, gods, and monsters than ever have to admit that it doesn't know what that sound in the dark is. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.